I wanted to ask you now on that we got on the DSCR because I think it will work two ways. How about if you own your home
Mhm.
and now you want to get into investment or your second home? Will a DSCR be a good option for you? Because then you will live in your primary source of residence to get somewhere else, but if your primary will cover the rent itself, then we can qualify for a next one. And now you will acquire an investment, and potentially it is your primary source of reference, but it's some sort of an investment, right?
So it really depends on what you're looking to do. Like I always tell people, your best loan is the one that you qualify for if the numbers make sense. Okay? But sometimes it's okay to be in a DSCR loan. I'm in a DSCR loan on a property because I didn't want to own it as an individual because it was too small of a loan and I didn't want to start hitting that limit on number of finance properties
Makes
for
sense.
conventional. So it was $120,000 loan. I wanted it off of
Your
my
personal.
my
Okay.
personal debts. So I put it in my corporation, and that debt is under a DSCR loan under my corporation. The interest rate savings of 1% wasn't worth me not being able to buy a conventional loan
Which
later.
again, by that point, 1%, what would it change? $100 a month, $200 a
Not
month.
even remember that
So
that's a year.
that's where like I need people to understand sometimes. Yes, interests are high, but if numbers make sense,
Well,
you
wait,
should
wait, wait,
still
can I
make the
stop you
investment.
there?
Yeah,
Historically, they're normal.
oh, totally, totally. But after
It
coming from 3 years or so years that I
yes.
have get so many phone calls in this week of people telling me I want to buy, but interests are high. I want an interest that is 7%, right? I'm like, is your credit 6, 7, 6 or above? I don't think so. And I don't know, but did they run numbers for you? Do the numbers make sense for you, right? Because I have this situation that someone told me they're paying two rents, their spouse and their kids, and then theirs. I'm like, with those two, you think you can buy a house a month? Maybe we're even able to, because it's a house, we can get maybe $300 a month. Then I run kind of the numbers with that higher interest, and it makes sense for him, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, "But I still want an interest loan." Like, the numbers a month make sense for you, the down payment makes sense for you. Why not do the move and have all your family all together in just one little
Yeah.
investment too?
Well, you're getting into the motivations why people buy.
Totally.
And I always find it very interesting because there's two numbers that people never think about, and it's what does your tax what happens to your taxes when you buy a house, and you forget that part of the payment is principal.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take out the principal and I take out the tax benefits, suddenly that $3,000 mortgage might be very similar to that $2,000 rent,
Yeah.
but that difference in payment is the principal you're
No.
paying for and the taxes that you're going to save at the end of the year, being that
No,
you
not just
can.
that. I think it's like a savings account, right? You move your,
Yes.
I don't know, if you have all your down payment in Chase or Wells Fargo or a big bank, you move that to a house, and it's still there. You can get a HELOC and get it out eventually. But not just that. When you make a payment and the principal goes away, it's like you're now automatically throwing money at the savings account, and people don't realize that they just think they're gonna spend 90, 100,000, or even just 25,000 on a house, right? And now when you make a payment, it's like, well, those 25,000 in a couple of years, they're gonna be bigger and with equity, right? And that's what sometimes
That's
I
the
try
principal.
totally. But I try to understand people's like, oh, I'm gonna make this big expense. Like, you're not really spending anything. You're just moving your money from a place to another. They're like, so I'm investing. I'm like, well, you're getting your house,
Yeah.
but yes, you're investing too.
It's an interesting concept. I don't talk too much to the first time buyer as investment,
No.
Fabian. And my only reason for it is your first house is you're locking in your rent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you're locking in your rent with a consistent payment, and you're locking in some equity growth.
Mm-hmm.
Your second and your third house can be your true investment. Then you
Okay.
make choices different. I always find it interesting that some of the best cash flowing properties are in the worst areas. And it's always, where do you want to live? What do you want to own? You generally can't have both. So, any other type of question?